Hello, my name is Cindy Suffren, and I'm your instructor for Mana University's MIS Missions 202 Cross Cultural Ministry course this summer. I'm so glad that you've joined the course, and I'm looking forward to getting to know each of you, interacting. I did this course probably 5 years ago and just found it fascinating. I think you will too. It's so interesting. It's not a typical um, kind of textbook course because it's very interactive. And I think you'll learn a lot. I think it's really interesting, all the things that we'll be doing, reading about different cultures, getting to know ourselves better, getting to know those that perhaps the Lord will lead you to minister to someday. So I'm very glad that you've joined the course. We're going to be together this summer for 15 weeks, starting on May 17th and going until August the 29th is the last day of this class. So I just want to go over the syllabus a little bit with you. If you have it in front of you or if you've printed it out or see it online, that would be helpful as we go through this together. You can see at the top of page 2 how to contact me. My csuffren@mana.edu email is a great way to contact me. If you need to get me on the phone, there's also my phone number there as well. And I will try to be available and respond to you on the phone if we need to have a conversation, or let me know. You can send me a note, send me a text, and I will try to respond to your emails within 24 to 48 hours so that we can be connected, see what's going on, try to encourage you to connect me if you have any problems at all, if you have questions about what's going on. So a little bit about myself. I live in Chapel Hill area, and with my husband and my dog. I have 3 grown sons and 3 wonderful daughters-in-law and 6 grandkids. So we've done a little bit of traveling ourselves. We go to Grace Church here in Chapel Hill that's connected with Mana Church in Fayetteville. And I have experience probably about 10 years as an ESL teacher. Before that, I was a homeschool mom and an apologetic speaker and a worldview teacher. I was taught worldview back in the 20 years ago for several years. Just loved that, passionate about understanding cultures, how people think, and how we come to believe what we do, and how to have a biblical worldview in every area of our life. So I just think that's something that's so important and so lacking in many of our discipleship programs today. So I'm delighted that this will cover that kind of subject also. I went to seminary at Southern Evangelical Seminary in Charlotte because they have a wonderful apologetics program. So I got an MA in apologetics there, and then got hooked on the philosophy program there, which is also wonderful. Got an MA in philosophy from there as well. So we have 3 sons. We lived in France for about 7 years, 3 different tours of duty for my husband, who worked with IBM here in the Research Triangle Park in North Carolina, working on new designs for computers and hooking computers together in the early days of modems and things like that before we got high-speed internet that we have today. So it was a very interesting time. We went first when we were in our middle 20s, and then probably about 6 or 8 years later, we had one little boy and one baby first, and went back with 2 boys, and then finally with 3. So we got involved in the French school system, traveled quite a bit, went to church with folks about an hour away who were in Monaco because they were mostly staff from Transworld Radio that broadcast the gospel all over the world. Their station in Monaco broadcasts the gospel in many, many languages to Europe, to Eastern Europe, to the stand countries, and to the Middle East and Northern Africa. So it was fascinating getting to know and make friends with so many on the staff there who speak all these languages, but just to have the relationship of the Lord together. Right now that we're on a mission board with one of those couples who broadcast and were the voice in Arabic. They have a ministry now called Endure International. We're on that board and love hearing about what the Lord is doing all the way in Northern Africa from Morocco to Egypt, and then all the way in the Middle East from Lebanon to Iraq. Just God is on the move, bringing more people to himself. I've also been on a mission trip a couple times to China and to visit Taiwan and Japan with my husband and Hong Kong. So a little bit of Asia as well. You'll see in the catalog course description says this course will provide an overview of varying cross-cultural worldviews, perspectives, and communication challenges on the goal of effectively applying this information to evangelism and cross-cultural missions methodology. So some of you might already have cross-cultural missions experience, which will be very helpful and interesting, and probably you understand that those experiences even more in depth as you go through this course. There are 2 required textbooks. One of them is Ministering Cross-Culturally, a Model for Effective Personal Relationships. This is by Sherwin Lingfelder and Marvin Myers. And the second one is Cross-Cultural Servanthood by Dwayne Elmer, Serving the World in Christ-like Humility. So you can get both of these on Amazon if you'd like. There are 2 other textbooks that we will be reading excerpts from. One is another one by Dwayne Elmer. It's called Cross-Cultural Connections, Stepping Out and Fitting In Around the World. I believe there is a chapter that you'll read that will be on a PDF file for one of our weeks, and also a chapter from this book, Cultural Intelligence, Improving Your CQ to Engage Our Multicultural World. This is by David Livermore. These are both great to have on your bookshelf and use as resources as well. So I encourage them, if your book budget allows for that, to buy those as well. I think they will be great, come in handy, and you will learn even more having a chance to look at them and read them. There's a little bit more information there about biblical text. Also, you can see which are the best to use for your writing, and if you're giving any textual biblical references in your work. It's better to use the English Standard Version and the New American Standard Version. Either one of those would be preferable to use. Also, there are resources to help with your research. There are links I put on the Papali page, for you doing research. I think some of them are more apologetics minded. It depends on the culture that you're researching about how helpful that will be, and also for the worldview that your interviewees have. As you get to know their culture more, some of those links might be helpful to help you understand what they're thinking about theologically or culturally. So I encourage you, those are some of my favorite apologetics websites as well. So I just encourage you, if you have time, to dig into those. You'll see the course learning objectives on page 3 of the syllabus as well. Number 1, demonstrate an understanding of global missions as a cross-cultural project, correctly identifying personal cultural biases, an attempt to identify and understand the cultural views and nuances of a target people group. And you're going to decide what is your target people group for this course. Number 2, develop and personalize a theology of contextualization that honors and utilizes the cultural features of various societies. And number 3, demonstrate an understanding of the skills necessary to successfully minister in multicultural settings that will further the mission of the church. Number 4, demonstrate an appreciation for the cross-cultural issues encountered when interacting with people of other cultures. I'm sure those of you who have been on missions groups already have probably have stories to tell of interaction with different cultures. So it will be interesting as we meet on Zoom sessions to hear about those. And I think you'll appreciate them even more as we go through this course. On page 4 of the syllabus, we outline the assignments and the grade breakdown. There are going to be 8 discussion boards in this course, 15 weeks long. There will be every 2 weeks for you to interact with your culture group, to be able to share and upload some pop-up videos that you're going to be asked to do, and also have discussions with your fellow students about what you're learning. So I think these will be really interesting. The 4 of them, well, at least 3 of them here, 3 exercises are really beneficial for you as a student to understand yourself better and to understand your own culture. Sometimes it's not something we've really thought of or contemplated. We just assume whatever situation we live in, that's normal. And that's what most people think. But there's so many ways that we can come from different cultures, different backgrounds, different languages and ethnicities, and different life situations, family situations. So the first exercise, you'll be doing the basic values questionnaire. There's a link to that. You'll see on lesson 1, you'll be handing that in on week 2 on May 30th. It's a great way to just think about yourself as it charts your ways that you rate on this. And you'll see there'll be about 6 different areas where you will be graphed. And just to be able to think about those, reflect on those, think about your answers to the questionnaire and why you rated like you do on the graph will be very interesting. Exercise 2 will be a self-awareness. This is 2 sets of questions that you will go through and hopefully really spend some time thinking about this. You think about your own culture, where you came from, perhaps what your prejudices were, or presuppositions that you assumed were true for everybody in the world, and about your own preparedness, perhaps, to meet folks of other cultures. You will use those, your answers to those. I just encourage you to be as transparent as possible for your own benefit so that you'll get the most out of this. Exercise 3 is developing cultural awareness. You're going to choose very early on in this course your chosen target group, and you'll need to do some research on this and write a 4 to 5 page research paper. Later on, you're going to do a long interview with them. There you'll see the questions very early on the lessons, so you can be familiar with those questions. I just encourage you to really think about this and get a good head start on this project. This will be your final project. You'll do a video interview and either send in the interview or the transcribed interview, and then your analysis of that interview, your discoveries about, that's at least 3 pages long, just thinking about the culture of the person that you're going to interview. So I think just from the get-go, it's very important that you think about who you would like to interview, who's someone from who did not grow up in this American culture. I'm sure that you probably have folks in your church that maybe are friends of yours already. Other people who can kind of introduce you to somebody from another culture. If there are lots of multicultural opportunities, regardless of where you live in America right now, I think that it wouldn't be too difficult to find someone, even if you have a favorite restaurant that you enjoy going to and you know the folks and would like to get to know them better. You can ask them if they would like to let you talk to them and you want to learn more about their culture. So I just suggest that you think about that early and get a head start thinking about this. It will be very helpful in the long run. There will be 2 surveys, the middle of the course survey and an end of course survey that you'll need to do as part of your grade. That's 5% of your grade as well. Note the paragraph about late assignments. No late assignments are accepted in this course without prior approval. That doesn't mean just telling me that you're turning in an assignment late. It means you have to ask me, talk to me about that, and receive permission before you can submit it late. So non-emergency requests for late submission that are made within 24 hours of an assignment will be denied. So prepare for contingencies, prepare in case there's something that happens that interrupts your life, your study time, your ability to do this, and plan accordingly so that you have plenty of time. Do things ahead so you won't be playing catch up at the end of the semester. You'll see the percent of final course grade also on page 5, where it breaks down the discussion boards for 15%. The 3 exercises are 20% each, as well as your final project, and then the end of course surveys. Okay, you'll see this course schedule on the next 3 pages, our 15-week course schedule. You'll see the topic of each one, what you need to study, what you need to read. We're going to start with the Lingfelder book and read through that, and then the Dwayne Elmer book. And then there'll be some other chapters that we're going to read later on as well that will be PDF for you to access. There are lots of interesting things. Every lesson in this course, there were videos for you to watch, I think are very interesting and educational, but also entertaining. And you'll see that the discussion board dates and assignments. We're going to have 3 Zoom sessions. The first one will be at the end of the first week. It will be on Zoom on May the 23rd. That's a Sunday afternoon from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern time. So please plan accordingly. The links to get on the Zoom meeting will be there, and you'll be able to see your the other students' discussion board introductions of themselves. So it'll be a good time to say hello, get to know each other if you don't already, and for us to talk about this, see if you have any questions as far as continuing in the course. We'll also have a Zoom session on the 8th week. That will be a live engagement on July the 10th. It's a Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. Please see the link. I think it's on the dashboard. It should also be on the 8th week lesson assignment for you to get on and meet with all of us on that Zoom meeting on the 8th. Please put these in your calendar. And the last one will be the 14th week, which will be August 21st, another Saturday from 12 to 1 p.m. So if you have any questions about those, let me know. The important dates are listed here as well for the summer on page 8. And then you'll see the school policies. So attendance is very important. You need to engage, participate within the first 2 weeks to be, so you will not be withdrawn from the class. So very important to get a good start. Just jump in and get going with this class. Remember that late submissions have to be approved by me prior to the due date. So we not, hopefully won't go there. You'll see the other things such as the grading scale and the style requirements, remembering when you're writing your papers that you're using Turabian Chicago, the 9th edition. There's a link there to the website that will give you the notes and the citations, how to cite all the sources that you're using for your papers. I hope that you will look also, besides studying the syllabus well, to look at the Online Learning 101 video by Carlos Serrano. It's right at the beginning of the course. It's very well done. He gives you lots of good tips on how to study well, how to get the ball rolling with your classes, how to engage the content, and how to organize your time. So I think it's a wonderful video. I highly encourage you to watch that. So if you have any other questions, please shoot me an email and let me know. I look forward to meeting each one of you very soon. God bless.